Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, whatever that music is, I don't really know because I don't hear the music while I'm taping this, but I'll tell you what. Welcome to Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength, sports, and competition. Folks, it is Mr. Olympia weekend. Take the glasses off, clap, finger, click, snap, point. Here we go. Mr. Olympia week, and it's not only Mr. Olympia week for Inside Arm Wrestling, it is also shameless plug, use clickbait by naming all the top bodybuilders week for us. Certainly bodybuilding is a hugely responded sport. It has some amazing levels of followers on a lot of athletes. So we are going to talk about arm wrestling first, then we're going to clickbait with our predictions on who's going to win the Olympia, and then ultimately we'll wrap this up. So one view, hopefully more than one view this week, but one episode of Inside Arm Wrestling. We've got some really exciting things coming up here next week we're going to talk about, including the very first 24-hour, 7-day-a-week streaming network platform TV channel called Inside Arm Wrestling Sports Channel. Folks, we are super excited. We are going to truly become a first in the world of arm wrestling for us as a whole conglomerate. This is not an I versus them. This is a we. We're going to be putting out a lot of information over the next couple of weeks on how you can get involved. But before that, nothing makes me happier in the world of arm wrestling when I see people do well. People doing well and giving back to the sport. And when you start to look at that list of promoters who have done it for more than a day, more than a week, more than a year, more than 3 or 4 years, when you start looking at that promoter list of decades worth of promotions, those names really whittle down. And one of those names that really stand out, in spectacular fashion has been Bill Collins. And Bill Collins and the Collins family have done a great job over the years giving the West Coast predominantly. And he's definitely done some East Coast promotions over the years, but the West Coast predominantly, he has created a league that has shown really what I'll call excellence, called the UAL. At one point, Bill and Robert Drank were partners in UAL, and obviously we know as a history lesson that Robert is no longer with the UAL. Bill is the owner. But Bill has taken the UAL and has done an amazing job over the years, and kudos to him. He may be one of the most recognizable long-term promoters that there is around. I mean, he certainly eclipsed the better part of 10 years, if not more, as a promoter. And he was also a very high-level arm wrestling champion. So when you look at the combination of the sport and promotion, getting too far past the name Bill Collins and finding anyone that would be above his namesake for time in and consistency is almost impossible. So I'd like to take the opportunity to go with a Inside Arm Wrestling Mr. Olympia weekend. Bill has got his tournament. I'm up here on Instagram, folks. And to be fair, it is a little bit tricky in the value that you have to be very attentive to times. When you deal with a convention, conventions typically give you the timelines in which you are going to perform the event in itself. Whereas when we deal with more of event-based locations, bars, Harleys, that sort of thing, now we have a lot more flexibility. But when you're dealing with a big value like the Mr. Olympia, there are some keynotes that you really want to make sure that you see. And I want to go over them with you here. So the WeighIn Times right now, he has an October 10th TBA. I have not seen a post, and to be quite honest with you, this will be a Friday value. So we're already past October 10th when you see this. So I'm going to gloss over that. My apologies, but since we're going to air this on Friday, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to tell you about Thursday's weigh-ins. But on Friday, October 11th and 12th, and Anthony, make sure that this video actually goes out at 7 a.m. because at 8 a.m. on October 11th, through 10 a.m., both the 11th and 12th, there'll be a weigh-in at the event center. And the event center is Las Vegas Convention Center on 3150 Paradise Road in Las Vegas, Nevada. Outside of that timeline, they have to take a half an hour break. Now, I'm not sure why that is, but again, conventions will dictate when and where and how. From what I see here, weigh-in times are actually only 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on October 11th and 12th. Now, the Thursday that we're going to miss, I cannot tell you when that is. But I'm glad I'm kind of looking at this flyer. We're going to highlight this flyer. October 11th and 12th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when the weigh-ins will be. The competition time starts at 10:30 and goes to 5. So make sure that you paid attention to what we're saying here. You can only weigh in from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. The competition is from 10:30 to 5. So if you're going to compete on Friday, you need to be weighed in, as well as on stage waiting for your name by 10:30 a.m. Because that's when the competition starts. The amateurs and masters will be on October 11th. So if you are a 50 and older guy, or you are an amateur and you're not ready to pull pros, you will only be able to compete on Friday, October 11th. Now, on Saturday, October 12th, the open class. Now, this is very important, folks, because if you're in the open class, okay, you're really going to get 2 days to weigh in. If you can't make it that Friday, you can make it that Saturday. But again, that value is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. If there are questions, I highly suggest that you reach out to Bill on Facebook or Instagram. You can also reach out to Rick Banis, who is their PR and journalist behind Ultimate Arm Wrestling. I'm trying to see if there's no, they do have a Bill Collins phone number, yes. And Anthony, put the 209-704-0664 on the bottom of the poster up so people can see it. If you have questions, please give Bill Collins a call. It's going to be a great tournament. And I want to highlight some stuff for you, because I don't think that the Instagram is doing as much justice as the Facebook page had done. Now, they do have a reel that shows the awards. And man, they are really cool awards. I'm very, listen, I'll give kudos where kudos is due. He did a great job bringing some really customized, amazing awards to this event. He's got some really good super matches here. And that's actually an underestimation. He's got some really exciting super matches here. You've got Brandon Allen, Leroy Walker, 2 prolific strong men turned into arm wrestlers going at it. You've got the always powerful Jordan Sill versus the Brazilian Ricardo Perón. You've got Heidi Corner of Canada versus Sarah Backlund. And then you've got the 4-way round robin. Oleg, Leroy, Jeremy, and Casey. Really an interesting lineup, because I think we talked a little bit about this, guys. If Leroy has a long match with Brandon, will Brandon wear Leroy out enough that he can affect the super match 4-way round robin? Or if that 4-way round robin is first, will that impact him pulling Brandon Allen? Could have a negative impact on either one of those sides for Leroy. But kudos to Leroy. He trains like a beast. Let me tell you something. I get tired watching his videos, not in a bad way, but the way he trains is just amazing. So get down there. Get to the convention, get to see some of the best arm wrestlers here on the West Coast. I'm sure some East Coast guys might be flying in. I don't have a competitors list to share with you, but if it's Bill's event, you can always count on the West Coast guys to be there, and without a doubt, you will have a great time. If you see me in the crowd, we're going to do a couple of promo drops for Olympia weekend. If you see me out there and you are an Instagram follower on World Series of Arm Wrestling, and you take a picture with me at the event, you post it on your timeline, and you tag World Series of Arm Wrestling, you will be automatically entered into a raffle for a free t-shirt here for the 2024 season. It's a great way for you to find me there, chat it up, get a t-shirt, perhaps win it. Talk to me about the November 2nd finals. But I'd love to be able to snap a lot of pictures. I'd love to find ourselves with some more followers. And again, part of that promotion is we have it for existing followers, and we have it also for new followers. If you're a new follower and you follow us at the Olympia, take a picture with me, tag World Series of Arm Wrestling. We're going to have a separate raffle for you for a t-shirt there. A great way for you to become a fan. And who doesn't like fans, right? We all like fans. So definitely give Bill your time. If you're here on the West Coast, get out there, get involved, get excited. The Ultimate Arm Wrestling League is a premier promotion, and it always will give you a amazing event and amazing time. Now, moving on to our clickbait, because Anthony's going to put C-Bomb. He's going to put Hadi Chopin on, Derek Lunsford, Keon Pearson, all of these champions. We're going to put them on. Obviously, there's a reason why. And the reason why is simply because we want more followers. And when we have more followers and we have more clicks on our and views on our video, that goes up. And when it goes up, we get better. What I'm really trying to say, folks, is I am not shameless. I should say I am shameless. I am not full of shame. I am not at all going to tell you that I'm not saying Chris Bumstead's name for a reason, or Keon Pearson, or Hadi Chopin, or Derek Lunsford, or Samson Dowdo. I would love to see all of them as arm wrestlers. However, I'm going to give you my top 3 picks on the Open, and then we'll see how we do. Unfortunately, one of my top picks isn't in the Open, and I'm a Nick Walker fan, the Mutant. Unfortunately, Nick is going through some changes and developments in his life. He is pulled out of the Olympia as of a week and a half ago. Not here to tell you why or to explain Nick's reasons. If you have an instant or two, go to see Matt Jansen's page. Go to see Nick Walker's page. They'll tell you why. But unfortunately, Nick is out. So my top 3 in a very specific order. I'll be honest with you, I'm a Derek Lunsford fan. I'm going to go with Derek as the number 1. I think Derek is an incredible bodybuilder. To me, being able to move from, the 212 to Open to Olympia champion so fast is incredible. But it's not unique, because if you remember, Hadi Chopin was also a 212 competitor back in Flex Wheeler days. He was unable to get his visa squared away when it came to the Olympias back then, and never really had a full value of challenging Flex for the title. But he moved to the Open class and became the very first, I'm pretty sure he was the very first 212 bodybuilder to become a Mr. Olympia. Derek Lunsford being the second. I'm going to go with Derek. I've met Derek once or twice. Super good guy. Never met Hadi, but, he looks like one of the friendliest guys out there. Incredibly peeled all the time. I just think aesthetically, size-wise, for me, Derek is a little bit more aesthetic to look at. But that grainy condition that Hadi brings in is just, it's wowing. I look underneath my t-shirt, my shirt here. I don't have any grainy condition. Matter of fact, I probably have some whole grains from my sandwich. That's about as grainy as I'm going to get. But for the most part, I think Hadi will be in second. I really think that Samson Dowdo is the next Mr. Olympia when it comes to the succession. I don't know how many more Olympias Derek or Hadi can win, but I think Samson Dowdo, if he dials it in, he really brings in a crazy package at 6 foot, X-frame, a lot of muscle, a lot of popping muscle bellies. Lacks a little bit of that grainy condition at times, but in terms of shape, size, aesthetics, with the exception of Andrew Jack, excuse me. I'm sorry, Andrew. Kind of had a brain freeze there. With the exception of Andrew Jack, I don't know that there's any more aesthetic bodybuilders out there than those two. Which really, if I have to go with a number 4, Andrew Jack, to me is the number 4. As long as Andrew comes in condition. If he doesn't come in condition, he leaves the door open, I think, for Rafael Brandao to come in and catch a 4th. I like Hunter Lambrada, but I don't know that Hunter is really in this call out for the top 5. He might be a top 6 guy, especially with Nick out. But if I went top 3, top 4, top 5, I'd go Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chopin, I'd go Samson Dowdo, Andrew Jack, and probably Rafael Brandao in that order. On the classic physique side, guys, I don't know if anybody can beat Chris Bumstead. Only Chris Bumstead can beat Chris Bumstead at this point. At the end of the day, the rumor has it this will be his last Olympia. There's no doubt when I go to Chris Bumstead on Instagram that he's got a much larger revenue stream of financial gain with 24.4 million followers versus the 50, 75, 100,000, whatever he's going to make on the Olympia. He makes what he'll make in the Mr. Olympia show in probably a month or less on social media. So Chris Bumstead, from my understanding, is going to move out of the classic physique. Can't tell you that to be true or false, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tries an open competition. I think he has nothing to prove. However, it would be really cool to see a guy that's so aesthetically, genetically superior to everyone, it seems, in the classic physique competition list, to be able to put in a little bit more weight, if you will, on that body, fill it out to 250 maybe with those lines, to really see what he looks like against some open bodybuilders. Guys, I think he would be killing it, to be honest with you. Keon Pearson, I think, is an easy 212 repeat. I don't see anybody beating Keon when it comes to 212 Olympia. And quite honestly, you know what? When you really look at bodybuilding anymore, and not to negatively, put a spin on 212 or fitness or some of these other, event competitions, you really have 2 events that have become the standard for the Mr. Olympia: the Open and the Classic. And let's face it, when the Classic ends with Chris Bumstead stepping down, if he retires or what happens, I don't know that the Classic, Olympia is going to have as much appeal without Chris Bumstead in there. The Urs, the Ramon Dinos of the world, a lot of these guys don't have the appeal that Chris Bumstead does. So my hopes is that Chris stays within the world of bodybuilding. Certainly, as long as he stays in the world of fitness, his financial value will continue to be incredibly consistent. I mean, the man can command just about any sponsor to come to his platform and be able to really get paid because of that exposure. However, everyone at some point has to retire. And if this year's the year for Chris, then, kudos for, I think, 6 it is for him to really set the tone for Mr. Olympias on the Classic end to come. And folks, let me tell you something. That's it. That's about as much clickbait as I can put in there. We're going to put a lot of the hashtags with all these athletes' names. Shit, I might as well even throw in Devin Lorette. We didn't talk about him, but why not? We need a hashtag, some clickbait. But ultimately, guys, tune in Inside Arm Wrestling to be the very first live channel on any kind of streaming platform. We're going on a major platform here shortly. Guys, we can't be more excited. So, having said that, my cue card is up. That does it for Inside Arm Wrestling News Report. Well, I can't even got the damn freaking, cue card. I'm not even reading it right. That does it for the Inside Arm Wrestling News Report. This has been Greg Sharp reminding you to train hard, pull smart, and lift safe. Folks, if you like these stories and you want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe to our page. Also hit the notification bell underneath the video so that way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if you're on social media, specifically Instagram, go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling Instagram page. Please follow it. We'll try to follow you back, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the news and events in the world of arm wrestling.